Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I never want to be famous. I lost that desire a really long time ago.
Yeah.
What I really want, though, and I thought about this morning when I was, again, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. on AO3. I want us to get enough fame that we can make someone's dream come true, that we are hiring someone to look up fan fictions for our podcast each week.
Yeah.
Because you know that there's someone who's been through it, right? They went through LiveJournal, they went through fanfiction.net, they're deep hacked into AO3, that it would be their God-given Make-A-Wish dream come true to be like, sorry, you're hiring me to find fanfiction for you to read every week? And I'm like, yeah, no, exactly.
Right. Yeah. That's a job you can have. Yeah.
I don't want to get spoiled. That's exactly what I'm asking you to do. And their eyes just turn like anime sparkles. Like, my whole life has been leading to this.
Yeah.
So please make our dreams come true, you know?
Yeah.
Let us make enough money to be able to do that. And it's ethical because we've never sponsored fucking BetterHelp. So.
Right, yeah. We don't have
And how many of your favorite podcasts can say that, you know?
Yeah. Think about it. Always on the right side of history, you know?
There are very few podcasts that have been around for 8 years that can say that.
Right, yeah. Some of y'all cannot say the same.
Exactly. So welcome into the Twilight, always on the right side of history, obviously.
Hey.
Always very, very specific about the ads that we choose.
Sure.
Which means that we don't shell out for anyone, just anyone.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did that for you. This is a very farm to table operation that we have going on here.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm here. I have incredible news, actually, for you.
Oh my god.
I'm finally Love Island pilled.
Okay, UK or US?
So, here's the thing. I know US is famously bad, right? That's
it
famously
is.
Bad part of the show. But, and UK has been hard for me to get into because I started at the beginning, which is not the way to do it. And that's on me. I fucked up. But people keep fucking talking about this latest USA season.
You are correct.
I thought we all were on the boat here that stunk. And so we tried it. Right. And folks, it's nuts.
It's so bad.
It's bananas. I'm almost caught up with them. But also they churn out 87 episodes a week. So listen, I'm doing my
Every
best
day
here.
but hump day.
Yeah, which is bananas. That's wild. I thought Big Brother was a full-time job. This is I'm putting in serious work here.
Oh no. It's a lot.
I need it. I need it so bad. And also I hate everyone.
Exactly. Correct.
I am so perplexed by every mechanic in this show. Like, the swapping, entering and exiting of the villas.
You can't get attached to anyone.
No. And, like, I thought I was, I'm well-versed in, like, the Bachelor in Paradises of the world. I'm very well-versed in Are You the Ones of the world. Like, this area of dating show is not unfamiliar to me, but this is at such a level that I am, like, genuinely stressed and scared every time I'm watching.
And you're getting an introduction to Ariana. Like, Vanderpump Rules Ariana.
Yes. I do know Ariana from this is very embarrassing, but from Dancing with the Stars, she did great.
No, that's not embarrassing. That's not embarrassing.
I also love, too, that they made a really big deal of her being the host now, and she's been on, like, 5 episodes.
The host of Love Island is literally, like, they do nothing. It's a lot like, the Lachey Netflix shows. Like, they do nothing.
They do nothing. But they make such a big deal when she hops on the scene, which, sure, love it. I do love that they relegate them to, like, okay, here everyone gets a Google phone and you're just going to get text messages to tell you what to do rather than a host. Yeah. But it is hilarious where it's just like, beep, I got a text. I've now been dumped from the island and I need to leave. I also, something interesting about this show is that the budget is bananas. Like, every song they have here is like a #1 like chart-topping pop song.
Yes.
Like, it's, and also, like, the sets are beautiful, whatever, but, like, just the sheer licensing alone. That whole first episode is, like, every single person got an introduction, and it was, like, a, top 10 very famous, very expensive pop song, and I was like, what? What is happening? What do you mean? Netflix could never. Selling Sunset could never.
They go on, like, dates. Like, real... beautiful dates.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Whereas, like, when you think about, like, the Bachelor franchise, it's like, we're gonna go on this helicopter tour sponsored by Tide. And it's like, hello? What? Like, it's nothing compared to it. Love Island, the franchise, has to be a money laundering scheme. I have no idea where the money comes from.
Where's it coming
from? But I'm obsessed with it.
God.
I don't ask questions. I just watch it.
Yeah. Just like sensory videos. I'm soothed.
I'm stressed. They have to be making bank off of how many episodes that they do with the ads. But I stop asking questions.
Yeah. How are you doing?
My happy thing is very similar to yours.
We were on the similar sides of the aisle here.
Yeah, it is very tangential. So I'm caught up on Vanderpump Rules, which I have been outside of the pod pressuring you to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it is worth understanding the context of how everything happened.
Sure.
But what I am starting to understand more about the Bravo cinematic universe is how all of the spin-offs are connected.
Yeah.
And when watching Vanderpump Rules, I realized I had seen on the cock, as I call Peacock, I'd seen Summer House come up. But I did not realize that it was a spin-off. Like, they had, like, integrated it into Vanderpump Rules.
Interesting. Yeah, I was also not aware of this.
They did, like, a backdoor pilot part of it. And so I started watching Summer House now that I'm caught up on Vanderpump Rules. And it's not the same as Love Island, but it does have similar beats. What it actually kind of fills the void of is Jersey Shore for me.
Yes, totally.
In the sense of, again, it's a similar region of the world, right? They go to the Hamptons every summer for these folks, so it's like 6 weeks of the summer. But it's set more current. It's living vicariously through these people, so it's something that I have never understood in my economic class, where these motherfuckers work in New York during the week, and then they, on the weekends, drive up to the Hamptons and live in a summer house for the weekend, get blackout drunk from Friday night to Sunday, and then they drive back home to work Monday through Friday.
It's an incredibly wild way to live.
It sounds, if they were early 20s, which some of them are, I could feasibly understand it a little bit more. Some of these motherfuckers are in their 30s. And as someone who's now 30, I cannot possibly imagine starting my work week off that way.
Yeah.
I would be a shell of a human.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have the stamina or truly the brain power to do that for that long. And then also, drive back from, like, it can be really, especially people going in and out from the weekends to the weekday, like, the traffic is not ideal, You're going to get there at, like, 7 a.m. for work? What? No, thank you.
Thankfully, some of them are smarter in the sense that they take a train there.
Yeah, sure.
But, like, some of them are like, oh, we're just going to rent a car just to sit in traffic. Yeah, anyways. What? But it does remind me of Jersey Shore in the sense of, like, there's, they're all connected by friends. There's a lot of, within this friend group, they're all hooking up with each other. Mm-hmm. They're just an utter mess of human beings, right?
Yeah.
Which I am obsessed with the context of within it. So I highly recommend it in the sense of very similar to Love Island. It's a beach read of a television show within it. And the cast rotates in and out throughout. Right now, where I'm at, there's like 3 people that have stayed the same. And then everyone else has kind of rotated through based on their life within it. I cannot stop watching, unfortunately. Just because I'm obsessed with how their lives are falling apart. Mm-hmm. But what I'm most fascinated with at this point is just how many shows, like this all started because of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Right, yeah.
And
the domino effect is wild from like this show to all these others. Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, if you wanted to go that far, you could say that like all the Real Housewives became their own franchises, but like
sure.
I started watching Beverly Hills and then was like, oh, there's a spin-off of Vanderpump Rules. Mm-hmm. And now there's Summer House. I found out from the Wikipedia that there's like 3 other summer houses that they've done spin-offs of.
Yeah.
But what I need to find, and I know that this probably exists somewhere, is like I need to see a cinematic universe tree.
Yeah, like give me the flow chart. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'm just kind of going as I'm figuring them out. But like I just saw this morning when I was looking on the cock that there's like a below deck. And I'm like, what do you... Hello? Where does that fit in here?
Yeah, so I think you found yourself in a very fun situation where you are both a fan of Bravo and also a completionist, and that's kind of the hardest thing. It's like the hardest combination of people to be, because then you keep finding new ones. They just keep popping up, and you're like, oh shit, like here's like all these other pathways I have to go through to like understand everything.
And at this point, I can't tell if Peacock is like, if their UI is so bad that they just, the algorithm is like, oh, you're interested, so I'm going to show this to you. Sure. Or what I would prefer more is it's like, oh, you've watched X amount of these episodes, I'm going to unlock this for you.
Right. Like, yeah, like you've earned this as a reward.
You've earned Below Deck, so I'm going to show this to you. But I know it's that their UI is so bad. Yeah. But I would enjoy it better if it's like, oh, you've watched X amount of seasons of Summer House, I'm going to unlock Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And it's like, what do you mean this existed? We have one piece of current events this week. Was it just a light piece of news?
But something so important. Nonetheless.
Something I never expected. Could you tell the class about this piece of news?
We're getting some lore dump here. Of the Suki Waterhouse Robert Pattinson relationship, which is very cute, and also like, because Suki's like on her tour right now, right? Or like about to be.
She's gotta be.
She's doing a lot more interviews for sure. Like I'm seeing a lot more things pop up of her being like, that's my mans, kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, great, love it, good for you, hell yeah, go off, girl. And she basically is revealing how at a game night of Werewolf, which is already like imagining just in my head before we even get to the people that were also present at this, like a celebrity game of Werewolf would, like, I know they should have private lives and everything, but also I kind of need that as like a Dropout original so bad, because that's hilarious. I want to see how Robert plays Werewolf so bad, you know? I need that.
I would think that you wouldn't want to do...
Sure.
Werewolf is very acting-esque to me. And so the idea of, like, your time off, you're just hanging out with the guys, you just want to play some games, that's what you're going to go to, is a very interesting choice, especially this group.
This cast list is bananas. Famously, Al Pacino? What? Hello?
This is the hottest group of people to play Werewolf with.
Javier Bardem? Hello? Penelope Cruz? What? What do you mean all these people are hanging out and playing Werewolf together? What?
We've said this so many times. How the fuck does Robert get into this? He is friends with everyone.
He has such an unmatched energy of, like, there are so many random photos of him with the most random celebrities throughout his entire career. And it's always just kind of like, he just shows up, right? Like, he's just kind of a cryptid in that way, where he's just kind of like, you take a photo and you like kind of like see it, it's like a little fuzzy, you shake the Polaroid and it's like, oh my god, Robert's there. Whoa, you know what I mean? Like, why is he with next to Beyonce? I'm very confused. Like, it's just very, I don't know how he ends up in these places. I love this for him. However, what does he have? What's going on?
The charisma of this man, it's that Taurus energy. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, Rob.
Imagine this group of people, though, and maybe even others that Robert has somehow been in the same rooms with as, in, like, a D&D campaign.
I would... Shut up. Just send me into the sun. The idea of Al Pacino playing D&D is actually the most important thing you've ever said.
I kind of need it so bad. Like, more than air.
This group of 5 people, Al, Javier, Penelope, Suki, and Rob. Yeah. Here's our question: Who's the DM?
I feel like Robert has that dog in him, but I do also
need him to play.
I think he could do like a lot of different NPC character work. You know,
yeah,
like he could really hit the voices, you know, and really have some range here. But I don't know.
You know who I want as the DM, actually, is Martin. I want Martin Scorsese as the DM.
Okay. Okay. I didn't even consider alternates and subs. That's right, yeah. I mean, that would be, like, tell me a story, you know?
Tell
really
me a story.
In there. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, that's really
all right,
good.
I want it.
Yeah.
I need it, actually.
Yeah, if anyone has close personal connections with Robert Pattinson, you should tell him to start a D&D campaign.
Because it's gotta be, I mean, I was saying this about, like, Werewolf as a way to, like, debrief at the end of the day, but, like, D&D is one of the best ways not only to, like, hone your comedy skills, but it's also an amazing way to hone your acting skills, too.
Right, totally, yeah.
So I don't know that it's necessarily the best way to, like, debrief at the end of the day, but I would imagine that because it's been around for so long, that if I was an acting coach, in addition to doing acting classes, I'd be like, no, get a D&D group together. Yeah. Learn how to collaborate and tell a story. Who better to tell a story than fucking Martin Scorsese? Hello?
This is beautiful. I need it so bad.
I just need to know at some point. That would be one of the questions I would ask Rob. Is like,
yeah,
how the fuck do you get into these rooms, my dude?
Yeah. The Riz.
But I'm glad ahead of this album release, which I keep forgetting the name that Suki has. That sparkle muffin is in fact a spider. Please never forget that, folks.
It's really
she's going to keep telling me stories. The title of that article really buries the lead. Like, Al's there. There's a lot of other really important people that are there as well.
Yeah, right. Gosh.
God damn.
I'm gonna keep thinking about that for all day.
Just forever.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know the name off the top of my head, but there's that really hot guy. He was in True Blood and Magic Mike. He played the werewolf. What happens if I just type hot guy from True Blood into Google? What does that come up with? Joe Magniello. I know he for sure plays D&D. He's like a super D&D nerd. So I know there are people in Hollyweird that do play D&D.
Hollyweird, yeah.
Just name names. Rob, tell us more.
God, yeah.
I need to know your thoughts about episode 17.
My thoughts. Fuck, dude. This fucking show. Listen, there was a lot of... I was gagged several times in this episode. And I know last week we were like, what could possibly be the culmination of all these different things? And then now this episode was like, fuck. Uh-oh.
It asked and answered.
Yeah, it's like, alright, you're confused? Let's fucking just twist and shove the knife in. Alright. Awesome.
Correct.
So that's kind of gaggy, for sure. I was very pro, like, Catherine and Isabel's, like, whole thing.
Yes.
Like, especially
that moment when she pushed her against the wall.
Dude. Crazy.
Dude.
And especially, it's so, because we've been so starved, right? Because we're just looking at Damon and Stefan being fools and not knowing how anything works, nor wanting to engage with how anything works or try to learn. And it's just being like, it's fine. No. And so that gets a little annoying and tired at the end when everyone else is kind of like, you know, providing for things or trying to figure stuff out. Mm-hmm. And so to see Catherine and Isabel be like, what if we just went full girl boss mode? Fuck these dudes. Let's do our shit right now and fuck up some shit. Because that's what we love about Catherine, is when she's in it for herself and she sees the possibility 100%. For her to actually, like, not give a fuck.
When
it's
Catherine
just so
has
refreshing.
Those girl boss ringlets in,
God,
and she
know she's ready to play.
And she just goes full sicko mode. I love it so much.
God, that moment too where she's, you know, running into, or like gonna try to cosplay as Elena again while Elena is there, and she's like, nice dress, can I borrow it? And it's like,
oh my god,
hello Miss Ma'am.
That was like 2 seconds of this episode. And there have been theologians and psychologists that have spent literally centuries on that fear. Like, that is Uncanny Valley right there. Yeah. And the writers were like, no, we're just going to spend like 2 seconds on it. Cool? Okay, go.
Right. It's like, and break. Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, but they were slaying. I was very enthralled by their contributions to this. I also love, too, that at one point Isabel calls Jenna anti-vanilla.
Oh my god.
Literally made me laugh out loud at such a high decibel. I think dogs could hear it. Because what? What do you mean?
Isabel has no reason to dog on Jenna so much, given that Jenna is, on paper, taking care of her biological daughter and her family. And Isabel's like, yeah, no, actually, fuck her. And I
fuck that bitch.
Respected that. I respect it so much.
Yeah. Her being like, I know I haven't been a present mother literally ever, but I'm going to be really judgmental about how you raise my kids.
She's like, go kick rocks.
Sure. Yeah.
It's such a shitty thing because this episode and the past few have been really set up to garner sympathy for Jenna.
Yeah.
And I feel none.
Yeah.
They were so overt about it too, especially at the start where Jenna literally does the like sliding down the door crying, and I'm like, girl, what?
Yeah. Jeez.
I should feel something. I feel nothing.
Yeah, and it's like, obviously all these things, like, and it's tough, right, of being like, okay, Elena knew, Rick knew, everyone knew, like, this was a whole thing that just Jenna was not in on for very obvious reasons, but it kind of looks worse because it seems like a, you know, a cheating thing or a different, like, love situation, when it's like, no, it's like a vampire thing, it's a totally different thing, but we can't tell you that. Like, so it looks bad. But it's just like, I would feel more if she was present or had any roundness to her character that wasn't just, I got put in this situation and I'm gonna do not a good job at it and just do whatever is the things I do, collect checks for the Historical Society and go to the grill. Like, okay, word. You know, I'm not really feeling the whole like, God, everyone hates me and this sucks and nobody cares about me and I'm sick of these people. And it's just like, all right.
I couldn't even tell if this episode they had a throwaway comment that was trying to explain why Jenna's never around.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, Jenna's not around for the plot. I get it. Like, I don't need anyone to try and explain it. I'm aware.
Sure, yeah.
I understand that a lot of the show wouldn't exist if she was, like, a present parental figure. Same with Liv. Right. Like, I got it. But there's a moment that Jenna says early on in the episode that she's like, I'm going to stay on campus. I have a thesis to write. And it's like, wait a second. I thought you were done. I thought you were a grad student last year. Are you still a grad student now? Like, is that, do you have classes? Like, are you still a student? Confused. Is that, I have questions about what's going on here.
Where in the world is Jenna?
No, literally. But I think that there are a lot of parallels that I feel like they're trying to draw between Jenna and Matt. Where for both of them, like, it's the year of realizing things for them.
Totally, yeah.
And weirdly, I guess it's not weird, but, like, weirdly I felt a lot more sympathy and emotional ties to Matt this episode than Jenna, when I feel like they were trying to get me towards Jenna than Matt.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to feel anything towards Matt, so
the bar literally
is low.
Ever.
Yeah, the bar is so low. And yet, it was like, okay, I see, you know?
But Matt was doing something interesting for once.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, all right, you're not just like at the grill. You want to find out a little bit more about, like, your family, and you're working with the person who you love's mom. Okay, I'm interested.
That's
like, tell me more.
That's compelling. That's a plot.
You're being less of, like, a flat Stanley. Tell me more, please.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think was happening in the car with them, by the way?
I don't know. I am unclear of what was the ideal situation in that, or, like, what was happening.
Because, like, it seemed like Caroline did actually compel him.
Yeah, right.
To forget.
Yeah.
Unless he did have vervain in his system. Because he said that, like, he was aware that he was supposed to forget.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the whole thing, is, like, he did have vervain in his system, so he couldn't.
Yeah, properly.
He was just pretending.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
But I don't know what Caroline's mom, like, what Liz, what her whole deal is, unless she's just concerned with her daughter for once in her life.
Right, yeah, finally being like, hey, actually I should check in on my daughter who I said I hated and now I'm kind of having, like, a fine relationship with, quote-unquote, question mark.
I'm not going to be around and I'm not going to ask her. I'm just going to go in, like, a roundabout way.
Yeah. Let's not do anything directly. Come on now.
God. But that was, like, a team up between those two I am curious about.
Yeah, for sure.
making them a little bit less boring. That's for sure. That was unexpected, I will say. But yeah, I think that last episode I was very, very much not sure. Like, what the fuck did John and Isabel play with all of this? And it seems like right now, anyways, I'm not sure about this because I never trust John, but it seems like by the end of this that John was in the dark with a lot of what Isabel did this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
Which seems sus because John has his nasty little fingers in everything.
Right. Like, I find that a little hard to believe.
But Isabel played Catherine.
Yeah.
So, maybe.
Right.
Isabel was using John as, like, you know, just to try and get Goss. So, it is plausible. That's for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, slay, right? Like,
Good for her. Because fuck John.
Being like, oh, you guys are all here to help Elena? Got it, for sure. It's like, are you guys literally 4 years old? What are we doing here? We're gonna trust any of these people? Question mark.
The arc that Isabel had this episode was incredibly painful to watch.
God, yeah.
Because I think that when we had last seen her, it was tough to watch her suddenly change course and, like, pretend to have emotions towards Rick.
Yeah.
But it felt more genuine this time around.
Yeah, I actually, like, felt, for sure. There was, like, a change of
heart. It made me seem like, oh, shit, she actually did care about him this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of things, it's like, oh, is it a compulsion thing? Is it just a, you know, getting what she wants kind of vibe, a la Catherine? But there is still, like, a core there that hurts way more. It's like, oh, shit. There was, like, a whole thing there.
It makes me wonder, how many times have we ever seen Isabel when she wasn't being compelled?
Right, yeah, seriously.
Like, if that...
It puts everything into a different context, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, how long has Klaus been pulling the strings, kind of thing?
How aware was she even of anything? Yeah.
Which, because with Catherine, I love it when she goes sicko mode, like she is only for herself. That is what I love about her. What I think this episode solidified for me about Isabel is that even though, at least this episode, she was being compelled.
Yeah. She
is not only doing things for herself, which sucks because it's painful to watch. Like, it is emotionally painful to watch. But I do think that compared to when we've seen her in the past, she feels far less one-dimensional.
Oh, yeah. And her, like, when you finally kind of see the gloves come off a little bit and being like, oh, you're done. Like, we don't need anything from you anymore.
Yeah.
And she's, like, actually happy first time and feels, you know, free enough to be like, actually, fuck this shit. I'm out. Like, I'm standing at my own damn grave right now. Let's light it up, baby. That was...
Well, and it just felt like the whole episode was a goodbye. Like, she was treating everything like this was the last time, which just... Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Ouch. Ouch.
It's just so painful. When did you know that, like, she was done? Like, she wasn't coming back from this.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely, like, sensing the vibes, but I think it was, because again, it was, like, the whole thing with, you know, Catherine and kind of playing that game a little bit was like, okay, what is the actual motive here and what is the underlying thing? But I think when, obviously, she's having, like, her little monologue moment of being like, I fucked up. Like, the whole, like, thing about motherhood and stuff with Elena and being like, this was not, like, kind of having that, like, I'm gonna make all my amends right now kind of vibe, or at least try to, right, in that moment before it's too late, was tough. It was really tough.
It was so bad.
Ugh.
I felt it when she told Rick about the compulsion.
Yeah, that was definitely like a, hey,
When she admitted to doing that, I was like, she's not coming back from this.
Like that's it.
Because that was not only her admitting to that, but her telling him that she not only loved him past tense, but loves him present tense. I was like, oh, she's...
Yeah, she's a goner. It's over. It's so over.
Because Isabel is not a vulnerable person by nature. So Miss Ma'am is not planning to have another conversation after this.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to have the tough conversations and then die. That's it. No more feedback, no more other emotions. That's it, baby. I'm out.
That
and what a way to go,
a lot
too.
like her MO, to be like, I'm going to just drop this on you and then dip out.
Yeah, then bye. How about you can deal with these emotions for the rest of your life? I'm out of here. I'm so done.
God damn it. I will say it's not her fault, because it felt like we had just found out that she was being compelled to do all of this, and it felt very clear that Klaus compelled her to take her necklace off. Like, that was part of the whole deal. I will say it must be part of the bloodline to be like, we're gonna have these conversations in the cemetery, and then hey Elena, I know that you are like a year off of watching your parents die. I'm going to just add to that list. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, can I just add one more? Because I kind of need this for me, you know? I'm sorry, girly, but kind of got to do
I know that I have no choice in this matter, but I am just going to traumatize you real quick. Sound good?
Yeah, cool. Glad we're all on the same page.
So it was so nasty. It was such a violent way to end.
Yeah, truly the most traumatic thing to witness for Elena. I would imagine it being like, oh god, she's lighting herself literally on fire, basically. Like, that is
so fucked up.
Like,
and we don't even know how she got home. Like, presumably she called Stefan or Damon, but like, how the fuck do you get home?
She was like, you were my ride. Like, I wish you were also alive, but damn, I gotta figure out transportation.
Like, what the fuck? I do think the only smart thing, and this wasn't, I guess it was a little intentional on Damon's part, the only smart thing that the Salvatores did was keep Catherine in the dark.
Yeah.
About the plan that Bonnie and Jer were doing this episode. Which,
in their, to give them credit, which I hate to do.
I hate it.
It was a good plan, because they're essentially operating the idea that, like, Bonnie's powers are gone. Ooh, we can't do anything. They're weakened, whatever. Which isn't the case. Yeah. But they were a little too smug about it. It's like, okay, you guys figured out one good plan. This should be the baseline of excellence that we were expecting here from you. Correct. Yeah, let's not pat ourselves in the backs too much, fellas. Right. Also, the something I thought was very interesting another part of their genius plan is like, oh, we're gonna give you the house, Elena, which
took them long enough.
Yeah, I guess I don't. Maybe the lore is I don't know how that works, but I feel I know it's like, I guess if it's like, oh, does it just reset? Like, if it's in someone else's name, all the vampires who were previously allowed in now have to, like, go again because it's Elena's house now? Is that the vibe? Because that's hilarious. That's so fucking funny.
It is funny to think that it does. You have to obey this paper.
Because even Damon was like, I'd be really upset if you don't let me in. And it's like, surely there's some, like, inherited history here with vampires. But I guess it's maybe just so cut and dry of, like, you have to verbally be allowed in to your own house that you own.
But also, like... But that is the whole thing. That's the whole thing with magic, is that, like, words have power. So...
True. Yeah, right. That's so funny, though. It's just like a full reset.
It is funny to think that, like, you have to go get something notarized, and then, like, as soon as you have a new notarized piece of document, it's like everything changes.
Yeah, and it just wishes away all of the previous magic and just starts it over. I hope Elena doesn't let any of these fuckers in, to be honest. She should just keep that damn house and just no one in. Because they were running amok with it, you know? People were going in left and right.
They weren't taking care
house.
of fucking anything.
No. No.
They were letting absolutely anyone in, so... And also, that it took them this long, that many broken windows, to figure that out, embarrassing.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of embarrassing, can we talk about the fact that Damon hid the moonstone in a bowl, a bowl of loose bar soaps?
He is so unserious.
The amount of mildew that has to be in that bowl, granted, like, I don't know if vampires need to wash their hands, but why a bowl of loose bar soaps that people actually use? It's not just decorative.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like we need to be better at hiding things, you know?
Correct.
It doesn't have to be like a fancy little box somewhere, but like, surely in soap is a little wild, huh?
And I don't disagree, Damon, with your thinking process. It does look like bar soap.
Right, you're not wrong in that.
But why?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just a quick question. Why? No one will suspect a thing. It's just classic soap.
It did not take Catherine long to figure out. She searched presumably 3 places that we saw.
Yeah. Right.
And she is so much smarter than you. It's embarrassing. I need to know your thoughts on the house that Bonnie and Jer and Damon, for a few minutes, went to. I'm very grateful that at least Emily, presumably other ancestors, just said, Damon, you're not allowed here.
Right. And he was, like, so reasonably pissed. Because it's, like, the site where, you know, the witches, the Salem witches and stuff that they're talking about. Which also Damon, like, knew the whole time. And Bonnie was like, motherfucker, we've been looking for this. Like, you're just gonna casually, you know, say this randomly? And the vibes were so bad. And he was like, fuck, ouch, my body. You guys figure it out on your own because the vibes here are not good. And welcome to me. Because they don't
Did we know prior to this that he tried to save Emily's life?
I don't think so. I think that was a reveal. Or at least I had forgotten it, but I don't think we had...
I don't think we knew either.
...known that. Yeah, because he was like, oh, I did, you know, try to come back here to save Emily and stuff. So the temperature in here is a little not great for Mr. Damon. And of course, Jeremy's like rubbing his hands, being like, hell yeah, alone time with my baby, gonna see her do some cool magic. And then it's like, uh-oh, she's gonna, like, almost kill herself. Cool. Awesome. Great.
I cannot handle him. He's, like, a little freaked out in this house. But not enough. Not enough for a layman. Because there is, like, palpable energy that's in this space. From not just Bonnie's ancestors, but a lot of... I mean, we know that her family, at least some of it, was from Salem. Yeah. And so at least, presumably at least more than just Emily of her family was killed here.
Right.
And so it is like resonant energy that he can like hear and feel, not just Bonnie. He should be more than just scared right now because he is not a witch. Right. But he won't leave because he knows that like Bonnie is still here. But because he is Jer, he's like also very excited about it, which I'm obsessed with.
He's so horny for this.
He's so like, that's horny my girl. For it.
When Bonnie's like finding the books and stuff, and he was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" Because they're like, "Oh my god, there's so many spells here. How are we gonna find them? There's so many old dusty books." And she just like zooms around and like like it floats, and she finds it, and it's like, oh my god, it's the coolest shit I've ever seen. She's so hot.
If the Salvatores don't help Bonnie keep all of those grimoires, I'm gonna freaking lose it. Yeah. Because that was the one thing that we knew about that family, was that they had like hundreds of grimoires.
Yeah.
That is the very least that the Salvatore brothers can do for Bonnie, is to help her get that history and to save it. I'm gonna freak out if that doesn't stay.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, guys. Do one thing for Bonnie in your lives, please. Jesus.
But she's channeling, like, centuries worth of ancestral veneration and pain here.
Right.
And has to do so little lifting in the moment to start this magic. But then Jeremy gets, like, naturally freaked out because she is, like, screaming.
Yeah, like, she's not looking great.
No.
Because she's just like, ah! And he's like, are you good, babe?
And to be fair, she doesn't look good in the moment. But then she's fine.
Yeah. And then she's like, no worries, I'm chill. This won't be, detrimental to me in the long term. I'm not here to just light candles or whatever, she said.
The queen of understatement.
Yes, completely. It's like, nah, I'm chill. I'm fine. Don't even worry about me. I'm so good.
I do love the fact that she was like, oh yeah, so I got a message from my ancestors. And it's just essentially the Spider-Man, like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Literally, yeah.
So I do love that her ancestors are still, like, up on pop culture. That's dope. But of course that's not true. Like, later on, Jeremy's like, hey, so I've been reading this.
And I think you're full of shit, actually.
You're full of shit. It says if you do too much here, it could kill you. And she's like, yeah, and?
Right.
What about it?
It's like, do you think I'm just trying to do some cool party tricks, with this magic? Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
But I think that one of the reasons why I love Bonnie, and this is very similar to what Elena said a couple episodes ago, which is that even though to kill an original, it would take all of her power now.
Yeah.
And that would kill Bonnie. She's fine with it because it would be her decision.
Yeah. And
seemingly, when we don't know this for sure, but seemingly when Grams died, that was not Grams' decision. I mean, it seems like it was Grams' decision, but it wasn't Bonnie's decision to let her die. So she would be in control of it this time, similar to Elena. But Jared's not okay with that.
No, definitely not.
He's like, what the fuck am I been doing? What's this for? How did you feel? Because we did get some music this time. It's been a while since we've had proper music. How did you feel about, at the end of the episode, that Snow Patrol drop?
God, fucking violence. And this there's a lot of, musical drops here that are deeply upsetting. In a great way, but also fuck. The Snow Patrol really, it really takes you to a place.
I felt myself, like, right back in it.
It was transporting. Yeah.
I was right back in high school. I felt it, which was incredibly painful. And so to have that be, like, the underscoring of the conversation with Matt and Liz, and then right into the conversation with John.
Yeah.
And Elena's being way too kind with him, by the way. He deserves to be hated. But good on her for trying to work through it, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on the, like, end of this.
The gag of the whole thing.
Because we hadn't seen Rick since the middle of the episode.
Right.
And then, like 2/3 of the way through, we hadn't seen Catherine. Since they both got by what I thought, up until this moment, was a henchman.
Yes, right.
And then... the last, minute of this episode.
I was on the edge of my seat. I was
I screamed at my TV.
Shitting bricks. Because Catherine wakes up and we see Rick in a chair having, like, you know, some sort of spell being cast upon him. Mm-hmm. And Catherine's like, where the fuck am I? What's going on? What's happening? And Rick fucking stands up, turns around, and is, like, possessed by Klaus.
Yeah. The henchman, who's not a henchman, he's like a witch.
Yeah. Right.
Bows at Rick.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Be
Rick
like,
in quotes.
Yeah. Right.
And then Klaus speaks Russian?
Yeah, Rick really puts on the the accent. The actor's really putting on the little stank on it, which I appreciate.
Yeah. To Catherine, because she can't leave the room.
Yeah.
If I freaking lost it.
Yeah, and was like, I've missed you. And head and hands type beat. It's like, hello? What? Gag. Are you kidding?
So, like, those vials on the floor, I'm presuming that was Klaus's blood? Like, what kind of...
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Can you do that?
What's going on? I'm confused.
I didn't know that you could do that.
I didn't know that could just happen. But okay.
Rick's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, for sure.
So now I'm confused. And also very scared because up until, you know, the last minute of this episode, I didn't think that Klaus was going to show up until the, like, final episode of this season.
Right.
I thought they were going to hide the big bad. And now, fuck me, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, rude of me to assume. Goddamn.
So.
Fuck.
But now I'm nervous because next week's episode is titled The Last Dance. Mm-hmm. So our event of the week, I mean, this week's was a luncheon. Right. Where Elena got a scholarship, which rip, we know that she's not going to go to college. Because homegirl doesn't want to live that long.
Right. It's like, thanks for the money or whatever, but I'm ripping this up immediately. I got a death wish. Exactly. I'm going to use it.
Here's my fear. Is this 500-year-old spawn of hell going to go to this 60s dance?
Yeah.
And, I mean, how are his moves?
Yeah.
Is he good? I mean, can he dance?
Can he do the dances?
Because you know Rick signed up as a chaperone, or he got signed up as a chaperone.
Yeah.
So...
God. Yeah, imagine him trying to play it cool in, like, a high school dance situation. It's like,
oh no!
Let's see how well you can camouflage here, my guy.
Oh, Rick, the history teacher. I didn't know that you suddenly could speak Russian. Interesting.
Yeah. You have a thicker accent than I used to, but also none of us really go to school that much, so I guess we don't really know. Probably wouldn't know.
Oh, please don't teach, you 500-year-old scary man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so scared. So. I'm nervous, but also Bonnie and Elena look fantastic, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. For
sure. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Pew pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Seklos.
And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Pew, pew, pew.
So I have a fan fiction for you.
Love.
This is from the author Vix Leonard. It is titled The 8 Unhappy Truths of Bonnie Bennett's Life. The summary is the problem with living in Mystic Falls is you spend so much time lying, you try to forget the truth.
Oof.
And there are no chapters. This is presumably the eighth unhappy truth. The only times she felt truly alive was when she fought with Damon. Bonnie would set herself on fire before she'd ever admit it, but she felt it. Whether verbally sparring, invoking aneurysms, or setting him alight, Bonnie felt a peculiar enjoyment and rush when going toe-to-toe with Damon Salvatore. The problem with having the power of 100 dead witches was the absolute knowledge that no one could touch you. She started to get drunk on it, the power she was able to wield. Damon was the one who brought her back to Earth. I don't care how much power you have. At the end of the day, your heart can be ripped out of your chest just as easily as anyone else's. Jeremy had taken it as a threat, puffing up in her defense, but Bonnie understood it to be a warning, a censure, a reminder. She was letting the power go to her head, and while she didn't think Damon particularly cared about her, they both knew if Klaus returned, she was their best shot at keeping him at bay. Sometimes Bonnie would read Emily's grimoire, coming across references to Damon as a human, and wonder if the image she had of Damon was as skewed as everyone's image of her. End scene.
Oof. Bonnie, girl.
Bonnie. There's the moment when he calls her their like secret weapon.
Yeah.
Is very good.
It means something to me.
It means something, okay?
Yeah.
It's important.
Gosh.
Well, friends, as always, tell friends about the show. Send over your fan fictions and your backstories. And enjoy some summer beach reads, whether in book or television form.
Absolutely.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.